Good evening to all. So today we are going to discuss biology class. So already we have studied about the 14th unit. Now let us continue the 14th unit, circulation in animal, transportation in plant and circulation in animal. So this is the 4th unit. So we have studied so far about how various biophysical process for the transport of water and transport of organic food material takes place in plant by means of xylem and phloem. So we have discussed what are all the various biophysical processes. That means osmosis, diffusion, active transport, passive transport, ascent of sap. So these processes we have discussed in our previous class. And even circulation in animal also we have discussed about the composition of blood. So composition of blood also we have seen. So in general, circulation in animal means it deals with circulation of blood, how blood reaches into various parts of the body and how it supplies various nutrient, hormone and various waste materials are all how it is distributed and collected. That part is dealt by circulatory system. So that we are going to discuss now. First of all, what are all the components of circulatory system? We have seen that the component of circulatory system is the major organ called heart. Heart is a pumping organ. Then it is followed by blood. Then third is blood vessels. Heart, blood vessel, blood. These are the three major constituents of circulatory system. Heart, you know well that it is the pumping organ. It is used to pump blood to different parts of the body. Blood vessels in the saying that arteries and veins. So here we are going to discuss what are the difference between arteries and veins. That also we are going to discuss. Then blood, composition of blood. Very important 4-mark question. Write a note on composition of blood. So very important question. Already we have discussed about plasma, RBC, platelet and WBC also we have discussed in a detailed way. So just for revision now, regarding the composition of blood, 55% of blood contain liquid part of the blood called plasma. You know well about the meaning of plasma. It is a liquid part of the blood. Then solid part of the blood is also called a formed element. It constitutes about 45%. Formed elements we can say, solid part of the blood we can say, or it is also denoted as corpuscles. Corpuscles, blood cells. Here, the plasma I told you, it contains plasma protein, serum albumin, serum globulin, serum fibrinogen that take part in immunity, osmotic process, regulation of water balance mechanism in and out of the cell, and also it produces antibody to fight against the diseases. So that is the in plasma. Previous class, and we have seen the plasma also contain enzymes, hormone which are secreted from endocrine gland also transmitted through plasma to different target regions of the body, and in each and every cell waste materials are formed, urea, ammonia and other nitrogenous waste material, non-nitrogenous waste material, everything with the plasma, and it also come along with the plasma part of the blood. So it contains inorganic material, organic material like nutrient, gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide, waste material, everything is in plasma part of the blood. Now coming to the corpuscles part, we have discussed about RBC. So RBC is nothing but it is a disc-shaped circular cells without nucleus. So during the formation of RBC in mammal, it has got nucleus. Later, when RBC matures, nucleus lost. So the RBC in mammal is also called eunucleated RBC. What is the meaning of eunucleated RBC? So during the formation, RBC do not possess nucleus. At maturity, it possesses nucleus, so it is called eunucleated. Why RBC has to lose nucleus? What is the need for it? It has to accommodate enormous amount of hemoglobin in it, so that it can easily carry oxygen and carbon dioxide. So that is why it loses nucleus. So RBC is denoted as eunucleated RBC. Even this RBC are arranged one after another like a piles of coin. This is called Rolex formation. Sometimes RBCs are arranged one after another like a piles of coin. It is called Rolex. So this is the structure of RBC. So what is the function of RBC? RBCs are in general used to transport gases. It carry oxygen from lungs into various parts of the body. It supply oxygen to the cell. From the cell, it picks up carbon dioxide and bring the carbon dioxide to the lungs, from where it is exposed out. So that is the role of RBC. So RBC lifespan is 120 days, 110 to 120 days. This is the lifespan of RBC. RBCs are formed from bone marrow and they are destroyed in liver and spleen. So the birthplace of RBC is bone marrow. The death place, graveyard of RBC is spleen and liver, where the RBCs are broken. Hemoglobin are broken down into the bile pigments. Bile pigments, they are the breakdown products of hemoglobin, bilirubin, biliverdin. These bilirubin and biliverdin are the breakdown products of hemoglobin, that are the waste material that should be eliminated from the liver through bile duct. They will come with the digestive system, and along with undigested fecal matter, it will come out. So that is the breakdown products of RBC called bilirubin and biliverdin. If its level is accumulated in our body beyond the normal limit in the blood, it leads to the condition called jaundice. Well about the jaundice. Jaundice அப்படினா மஞ்சக்காமாலை அப்படினு சொல்றாங்க. What is the meaning of jaundice? The substantial increases in the amount of bile pigment in the blood leads to the condition called jaundice. மஞ்சள் காமாலை. Bile pigment ஓட அளவு இவ்வளவுதான் இருக்கணும் அப்படினா அதை விட எக்ஸீட் ஆச்சுனா jaundice அப்படினு சொல்றாங்க. jaundiceன்றது வைரஸ்னால கூட வரலாம், இல்ல இந்த bile pigments ஓட அளவு ரத்தத்துல நார்மலை விட அதிகமான அளவு வரும். So the bile, what are bile pigments? Bilirubin, biliverdin, they are the breakdown products of hemoglobin. So these are all the things. Right. Now RBC, their number is constant in our blood. Say for example, 1 cubic mm of blood, they contain 5 to 5.5 million in 1 cubic mm of blood. Cubic mm of blood contain 5 to 5.5 million. When the amount of RBC increases, it leads to the condition called polycythemia. Polycythemia. What is called polycythemia? It is the condition in which RBC number is more than that of the normal. Increased number of RBC leads to the condition called polycythemia. Now what will happen when the person have polycythemia condition? RBCs are blocked in the blood vessels. So free flow of blood is prohibited, stop. So it stops free circulation of blood. It is blocking the blood vessels. So inner lumen of the blood vessels are blocked in the same that it will not allow the blood to easily flow into the various parts of the body. So it leads to some kind of problem. That is called polycythemia. So polycythemia is the increased condition of RBC, increased amount of RBC from the normal amount. So சில பேர் மலை ஏறுவாங்க, மலையில வாழ்வாங்க, அவங்களுக்கு பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஆர்பிசியோட அளவு அவங்க ரத்தத்துல அதிகமா இருக்கும். ஆனா நமக்கு பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஆர்பிசி வந்து இந்த ரேஞ்சில இருக்கும், அவங்களுக்கு வந்து ஒரு 6 மில்லியன் இருக்குது. அப்ப அவங்களுக்கு பாலிசைத்தீமியாவா? இல்ல. மேல போக போக ஆக்சிஜனோட அளவு குறையும். சோ அப்போ மலைக்கு மேலலாம் இருக்கிறவங்க ஹையர் ஆல்டிடியூட்ல வாழக்கூடிய மக்களுக்கு பாத்தீங்கன்னா அவங்களுக்கு ஆர்பிசி கொஞ்சம் நார்மலை விட அதிகமா தான் இருக்கும். ஸோ அதனால அந்த பாலிசைத்தீமியானால அவங்க ஒன்றும் இறந்துட மாட்டாங்க. அதனால பாலிசைத்தீமியா இஸ் ஸ்லைட்லி நோட்டிஸ்ட் இன் பர்சன் who are living in higher altitude. So that may not lead any kind of problem to them. They can tolerate that. They have to pick up enormous amount of oxygen in the higher altitude. So they have this sort of condition. If amount is still increased beyond the 6 or 7 million in the same, that it lead some sort of physiological effect and it will obstruct the free flow of blood. Yes. Suppose the RBC reduced from the normal level. The number decreases from the normal level in the same that it leads to the condition called anemia. What is called anemia? ரத்த சோகை. இந்த கேசஸ்ல நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா லெதர்ஜிக்கா இருப்பாங்க, இன்ஆக்டிவா இருப்பாங்க, சோம்பேறித்தனமா இருக்கும். இதான் அனீமியான்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, ரத்த சோகை. எதை செஞ்சாலும் ஒரு எனர்ஜெட்டிக்கா இல்ல, ரொம்ப டயர்ட் ஆகுது, மெத்தபடிக்கிட்டு யாருன்னா டயர்ட் ஆகுது, டயபெட்டிக் பேஷண்ட் மாதிரி அடிக்கடி டயர்ட் ஆகுது அப்படின்னா இது அனீமியா. அப்போ ரத்தம் இல்ல, சோவையா இருக்குது. ஸோ அதுதான் அனீமியா. அனீமியால நிறைய டைப்ஸ் இருக்கு. எரித்ரோபிளாஸ்டிக் அனீமியா, மெகலோபிளாஸ்டிக் அனீமியா, நியூட்ரிஷனல் அனீமியா, நிறைய டைப்ஸ் இதுல இருக்கு. So anemia, decreased number of RBC leads to the condition called anemia. So this is about RBC. Now let's see the WBC. See the WBC, it can be divided into two categories, two types. They are granulocytes and agranulocytes. Granulocytes and agranulocytes. Now let's see what are granulocytes and what are agranulocytes. Granulocytes in the sense that the WBC possess cytoplasmic granules and nucleus is single lobe, many lobed nucleus, bilobed or many lobed. The nucleus may have some sort of many lobes, and cytoplasm possesses number of granules. So it is called granulocytes. Whereas agranulocytes, here the nucleus, single lobe, cytoplasm may contain fewer amount of granules. Granules are lesser in size. That is why it is divided into granulocytes and agranulocytes. Now what are all the WBC coming under granulocytes and what are all the WBC coming under agranulocytes? Under granulocytes, you will have neutrophils. Neutrophils. See, the structure of neutrophil will be like this. So this is the WBC. It is also called a neutrophil. This WBC is otherwise called polymorpho neutrophils. Polymorpho neutrophils. That means what? Nucleus is many lobed. Many lobed nucleus are present in these white blood cells. So it is polymorphic in nature. Which WBC exhibit polymorphism? Neutrophil. So this is very important. One more question. Which WBC has polymorphic nuclear structure? Neutrophil. Now what is the role of neutrophil? It is 2 to 7 lobed nucleus. 60 to 65% of WBC occupy neutrophils. Suppose randomly we are selecting 100 number of WBC. In this 100 number, 60 to 65 number of WBC comes under neutrophil. This is the differential count of the WBC. Total count in the saying that the total number of RBC in 1 cubic mm of blood is 5 to 5.5. WBC number ranges into 5,000 to 10,000. Whereas the platelets ranges into 2.5 to 3 lakhs. This is the total count we can say. Regarding the differential count, let us imagine the amount of WBC. Randomly we are selecting 100 number of WBC. Among that 100 number, 60 to 65% ranges into neutrophil. So many number of WBC comes under neutrophils. And this WBC plays very important role during inflammation and infection. These neutrophils take part in inflammation. Inflammation அப்படினா வீக்கமாகும். உடம்புல ஏதோ வீக்கமாகுது, அந்த நேரத்துல இது அதிகமா செக்ரீட் ஆகும். And infection, தொற்று நோயினால பாக்டீரியா, வைரஸ் இந்த மாதிரி ஏதாவது உள்ள போச்சுன்னா அப்ப இந்த WBC ஓட நம்பர் அதிகமாகும். So during inflammation and infection, these WBC number increases. Right. This is about neutrophil. Now the next granulocyte is here eosinophil. What is eosinophil? Eosinophil. See here the eosinophil is the bilobed structure. It has got bilobed nuclear structure. See the nucleus will be somewhat looking like this. ரெண்டு லோப் இருக்கும் நியூக்ளியஸ். சைட்டோபிளாஸ்ம்ல நிறைய கிரானுல் இருக்கும். So இததான் ஈசினோஃபில் அப்படி நம்ம சொல்றோம். It has got many granules in the cytoplasm. Nucleus is bilobed and its differential percentage ranges into 2 to 3%. 2ல இருந்து 3%. 100னா 2 இருக்கும் 3 இருக்கும். அதான் இதோட differential count. What is the role of this eosinophil? It take part during allergy and parasitic infection. Allergy and parasitic infection. Parasitic infection. Any pathogen, when it enter in our body, it also secrete. It also produced in enormous amount. So during allergic infection, as well as a parasitic infection, these amount get increased. Right? It is its role. Now coming to basophil. The third granulocyte is basophil. Basophil. See the structure of basophil. The basophil somewhat having the nuclei maybe irregular in shape, lobed structure present in nucleus. This basophil differential count ranges into 0.5 to 1%. 200ல 1 இருக்கும் இல்ல 100ல 1 இருக்கும். அதனால 0.5 to 1%. These play very important role in chemicals during inflammation. Chemicals release பண்ணும். Chemicals alarming signal or chemicals released during inflammation. அடிபட்டுது உள்ள ஏதோ காயமாயி போச்சு அந்த நேரத்துலலாம் இது அதிகமா ப்ரொடியூஸ் ஆகும். So it is releasing the alarm signal. Chemicals. That chemical take part in inflammation. வீக்கத்தை ஓரளவுக்கு குறைக்கக்கூடியது. Right. This is about the granulocytes. Now let's see the A granulocytes. A granulocytes are 2 in number. One is lymphocyte and another one is monocytes. Lymphocytes and monocytes. Both are coming under A granulocytes. Cytoplasm do not contain granules. See the structure of lymphocyte. It has got single lobed nucleus and cytoplasm do not contain many number of granules. Right. What is its role? Lymphocytes differential count ranges into 20 to 25%. Right. So these lymphocytes plays very important role for producing antibody. What are called antibody? It is the substances which are responsible for fighting or killing the pathogen. Antibodies plays very important role for killing pathogens, virus, bacteria, fungus. All are killed by antibodies. They are the immune system in our body. Sometimes the lymphocytes directly kill the pathogen or some lymphocyte produce antibody. That antibody fight against the pathogen by means of neutralization. Then another method, bactericidal actions like neutralization or detoxification, and so many processes are there. How the WBC counterpart with the pathogens. So that when you come for higher studies, you will study in a detailed way. Right? This is the role of lymphocyte. So lymphocyte, it take part in cell-mediated immunity and humoral immunity. Cell-mediated immunity in the sense that the lymphocytes engulf the pathogen and kill it. Humoral immunity, that means antibody-mediated immunity. They produce enormous number of antibody. That antibody find the pathogen and pathogens are neutralized, detoxified. So that is by means of antibody. So this is the role of lymphocytes. Now the lymphocytes we have completed. Now let's see the monocytes. What are called monocytes? They are the largest leukocytes and are amoeboid in shape. This is the largest leukocyte. They will ask in one more question. Which is the largest leukocyte? Monocytes. They are having amoeboid shape. Amoeboid shape. Amoeboid shape in the sense that irregular in shape. Sometimes the monocyte may be like this, amoeba shaped structure. They make some sort of movement, amoeboid movement into the blood vessels, and then it reaches in the tissue. Inside the tissue, it can enter from blood vessels. And this kind of movement of WBC from lumen of the blood vessel into the cell is denoted as diapedesis. What is called diapedesis? Diapedesis is the process of movement of WBC from inner lumen of blood vessel into the cells, into the tissue. And some of the WBC, they kill the pathogen when it is found in tissues. Normally all these WBC, they take part in killing pathogen only in the blood vessels. Whereas this monocyte, since the shape is looking like amoeba, it can easily enter into the blood vessel, then it reaches into the tissue where it kills the pathogen. So that kind of mechanism is present in monocytes. So monocytes make diapedesis. Even the basophil also, they take part in diabetic movement, diapedesis movement. So diapedesis is nothing but it is the movement of WBC into the tissue from blood vessel. Right. This is about the WBC. The monocytes number ranges into 5 to 6%. 5 to 6%. It is its differential count. It is phagocytic in action, engulf bacteria. Phagocytic. Phagocytic means engulfing microorganism and then kill it. So WBC devour the pathogen and then kill it. They engulf the pathogen and kill it. It is called the phagocytic action. Right. It is about the WBC. So we have discussed about different types of WBC. Granulocytes and agranulocytes. Granulocytes are neutrophil, eosinophil, basophil. Agranulocytes are two in number. One is lymphocyte, another one is monocyte. Which is the largest WBC? They will ask in one more question, monocytes. Now in the differential count also you must be thorough of it. 60 to 65% neutrophil, eosinophil ranges into 2 to 3%. Then another WBC here 2%, 0.1%, basophil. Then here 20 to 25%. These are all very important one mark questions. So go through that in a one mark question. Right. So with that I have completed WBC. Now let's see the platelets. What are platelets? Platelets are the irregular shaped structure without nucleus. These cells are formed from bone marrow. All the three blood cells are formed from bone marrow. And these platelets are formed from disintegration of megakaryocytes. Megakaryocytes. What are called megakaryocytes? Megakaryocytes means very large number of cells found in bone marrow of long bones. These megakaryocyte cells undergo of disintegration. As a result, the platelets are formed. The platelets do not contain any nucleus. They are also irregular in shape, sometimes spindle shaped structure. And these platelets plays very important role for blood coagulation. So during blood clotting process, it plays very important role for the production of thromboplastin, the substance necessary for blood clotting. You know, if there is any damage in the body, ரத்தம் பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு 3 நிமிஷம் 3ல இருந்து ஒரு 9 நிமிஷம் அதுக்குள்ள ரத்தம் 3 to 9 minutes அதுக்குள்ள ரத்தம் உறையுதுன்னா அது காரணம் இதுதான். So along with the platelets, there are some other factors also take part in blood clotting process. I told you plasma, serum albumin, serum globulin, serum fibrinogen. I told that serum fibrinogen plays very important role for blood clotting process. Then thrombocytes, platelets are also called thrombocytes. The thrombocytes, initially it produces thromboplastin substances and tissue factor, and that plays very important role for initiation of blood clotting process. The minerals are calcium needed for blood clotting process. Vitamin K is also necessary for blood clotting process. Then gene also necessary for blood clotting process. There are more than 10 factors are responsible for blood clotting process. So among that, the platelets also produces the substances, tissue factor, thromboplastin. That is very, very essential for the building of blood clotting process. So platelet take part in blood clotting process. So all the three blood cells are formed from bone marrow and destroyed in some places. Say platelets are destroyed in blood clotting, any injuries. In that area they are disposed. WBCs are destroyed in anywhere. If there is any pathogen interior to our body where it kills the pathogen and then we are recovering from diseases, and the WBC also damaged, it will come out along the damaged cells. Pus. So WBC formed from bone marrow and they are destroyed in anywhere in the its lifespan ranges into 2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 3 வாரம் வரை இருக்கும். But இது பாத்தீங்கன்னா RBC பாத்தீங்கன்னா 110 to 120 days. It is the lifespan of RBC. RBC transport gases. WBC protect our body from pathogen. Platelets take part in blood coagulation. So these are the composition, various components of blood. So this is very, very important 4-mark question. Sometimes in 7-mark question also they will ask, write the composition of blood, or they will split the question, give an account of WBC, various types of WBC, write a note on WBC and its types. If they ask, you have to write about the various types of WBC, 5 number of WBC. Right, with that I have completed the composition of blood. Now coming to what are the functions of blood? This is the 4-mark question which is given in your book bag. Functions of blood, general function of blood. Now imagine I told you that RBC take part in transport of gases, WBC take part in killing pathogen, platelets take part in blood coagulation, then serum albumin, serum globulin, serum fibrinogen, its role. Serum albumin take part in regulation of osmotic balance of the body. It regulates the water level in and out of the cell. That is the role of serum albumin. Serum globulin produces antibody. These antibodies are produced by serum albumin also. So antibody formation also under the control of serum globulin. Then serum fibrinogen, I told you, blood coagulation. So some of the plasma protein, they take part in certain functions. That they are listed in your book, page number 206. See, there are 7 points they are given. Transport of respiratory gases, that is under the role of RBC. Second point, transport of digested food material to the different part of the body. From the digestive system, blood absorbs digested nutrient, glucose, amino acid, fatty acids, glycerol. They are all absorbed by means of blood. It is distributed into different parts of the body. That is also the role of blood. Then it transports hormones. Hormones are secreted from endocrine gland, and then it reaches into target organ by means of blood. Then it transports nitrogenous excretory product like ammonia, urea, uric acid. Waste materials are also distributed by blood. Now plasma part of the blood carry this. It acts as a buffer and helps in regulation of pH and body temperature. It acts as a buffer, regulation of pH, acid-base balance. That is under the control of serum albumin. So regulation of pH and water balance. Right. Then it take part in maintaining proper water balance in the body. Water balance in the sense that serum albumin, electrolyte. Now positively and negatively charged particles. Now its regulation is under the control of blood. So this is the functions of blood. So functions of blood also sometimes they will ask in 4-mark question. or write the composition of blood. This is separate 4-mark question. Or in 7-mark question, write the composition and functions of blood. So in any way they can ask. A very important question when you come for 11th standard also, the same thing you will be having in 5-mark question. Right. Now let's see the blood vessels. So far we have discussed about blood. Now let's pass on to the blood vessels. Blood we have studied, and now let's see the blood vessels and its different types. You know, the blood vessels are used to transport blood, distribute blood, so that we can, it can distribute enormous amount of material from one region of the body to another region. Right. Now, the blood vessels are 3 types. Blood vessels are of 3 types. One is arteries. Arteries. It carry blood away from the heart. Another one is veins. It brings blood toward the heart. Then third one is capillaries. Capillaries. So these capillaries are present in the tissue. Arteries and veins, they are reunited by means of, they are formed, branched by means of capillaries. Right, now let's see the one by one. Now what are the difference between arteries and veins? This is very, very important 2-mark question. Write any 2 differences between arteries and veins, or in sometimes 4-mark questions they will ask. Differentiate between arteries and veins. So that is given in your book in the tabular column, page number 206. It is given in a detailed way. Go through that. Now let's see what are the functions of arteries and veins. Right. Now the arteries are thick-walled blood vessels. It has got thick walls, 3 layers: tunica externa, tunica media, tunica interna. The 3 layers. Even veins also possess 3 layers: tunica externa, tunica media, tunica interna. What is the difference between these 2? It is thick-walled, it is thin-walled. So that is the 2 major differences. Now capillaries are single-layered blood vessel. The single-layered formed of the cells called endothelial cell. Endothelial cells. So this is 1-mark question. Now capillaries are formed of which of the following cells? Endothelial cells. Whereas arteries and veins, 3 layers: tunica externa, tunica media, tunica interna. See, the word tunica, tunica is nothing but it is a layer. Tunica externa, வெளியில இருக்கிறதுனால இதுக்கு பேரு tunica externa. அதே மாதிரி tunica media, நடுவுல இருக்கிறதுனால. உள்ள இருக்கிறதுனால பாருங்க tunica interna. Interna. These are the 3 layers. The same layers are found in veins also. Tunica externa, tunica media, tunica interna. The thickness varies from arteries and veins. Now let's see one by one. What is the function of artery? See, the heart. This is the heart. It has got 4 chambers. Now the aorta. Aorta carry pure blood. These aorta can be further divided into many number of branches. One of the branches called the brachial artery. The brachial artery can be further divided into fine branches. Artery, further arteriole, then meta artery. Artery can be divided into meta artery further divided into arteriole, then arteriole further divided into fine branches called capillary. See, the artery can be divided into still finer branches called capillary. These capillaries, they reunite to form venules. See, this is the capillary. These capillaries reunite to form venules. Then venules reunite to form a larger blood vessel. These larger blood vessels are veins. Then it opens into superior vena cava or inferior vena cava. Say for example, it is the precaval vein. Precaval vein is located here. This is the postcaval vein. It collects impure blood from the lower part of the neck. Lower part of the body. So here arteries, capillaries, veins. Now imagine this is arteries. Artery. This is capillary. Capillary in the sense that it is present in between tissue, I mean cells. Here you can find enormous number of cells. So it distributes plasma or liquid part of the blood into the cell. It is capillary. Capillary reunite to form venules. Venules. Then venules reunite to form vein. Veins reunite to form the major vein called precaval vein and postcaval vein. Precaval and postcaval vein. So this is about the structure of three different types of blood vessels. Now we have seen about the rough structure of three different blood vessels. Now what is the function of artery? Arteries carry blood away from the heart. Now see, the arteries are the distributing vessels. It distributes blood from heart to various parts of the body. It distributes blood from heart to lungs, whether it is pure blood or impure blood, whatever it may be. It distributes blood to various parts of the body. Right. Veins, it is a collecting. Veins collect impure blood to various parts of the body. This into precaval and postcaval veins. Likewise, it is collecting. It is pink in color. It is red in color. And third, arteries are located in deeper region of the body, deeply seated. Veins are superficially located. Melotama paranga blood vessels veins. Collect blood vessels. Blood pressure is very high in arteries, very low in veins. Right. The wall of the arteries are strong, thick, whereas veins walls are thin, non-elastic in nature. Then all artery carry oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. Here you have one artery called pulmonary artery arises out from right ventricle, carry impure blood to lungs for purification. Except pulmonary artery, all artery carry pure blood. Right. All vein carry impure blood except pulmonary vein. Right. Then the last point is arteries are not provided with internal valves, whereas veins possess a number of packet valves. Internal valves are present in veins. So valves are absent in vein. Absent in artery, present in veins. So these are the difference between arteries and veins. Right. So with that we have completed the blood vessel. Now let's see the types of circulatory system. Next session we will study about the detailed structure of heart, how it works. So that we will discuss in a detailed. And what about the blood groups of human? What is universal donor, universal recipient? That we will discuss in next session at 7 o'clock. Right. Thank you.